But we're joined now by the former chair of the San Diego Republican Party, Gustafson, who sits on the Republican Party of San Diego's Central Committee now, and we get to hear his perspective. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
What are the policy changes, announcements, executive orders from the White House that really matter here in San Diego?
Well, look, I think that if you look at the first few weeks of the Trump administration, what everybody sees, whether you live in throughout the country or in San Diego County, is that you have energy, you have common sense, and you have a result-oriented approach that the Trump administration's brought to Washington, D.C. You see things on immigration where, on the final day of the Biden administration, 2,500 illegal immigrant encounters. And on the first day of the Trump administration, that went down to 43 encounters, a total of 95% a downgrade in illegal immigration coming through our southern border. So the Trump administration's delivered on their campaign promises, and they've delivered in securing our southern border.
Speaking of those campaign promises, you were laser focused on the economy. Which of these changes or executive orders make day-to-day life cheaper for San Diegans?
Well, look, I think that one of the great things going on is the reforms in government, where you have Elon Musk looking at where there's inefficiencies in the government, driving down the cost of what our government spends every single year. Because when the government spends money, it's taking away from taxpayers. So if we can get the government spending more efficiently, that's going to mean more money in the pockets of everyday Americans and San Diegans.
Do you have any concerns about transparency when it comes to Elon Musk and what DOGE is doing?
Well, he's the president of the United States is in charge, and he's directing Elon Musk to do what he's doing. And I think I think we really have to take a step back and look at Elon Musk in his entire career. You have a man who started SpaceX, who now delivers rockets into space at 11 times less cost than NASA. When he took over Twitter, he was widely mocked because he laid off 80% of the Twitter workforce, and now that platform is more popular than ever. That man is uniquely qualified to create government efficiency and to find waste in the American government. So I am very happy with what he's doing, and I think the American people, when you look at the approval numbers of President Trump's administration, absolutely agree that what he's doing is necessary.
Do you think DOGE should have to answer to Freedom of Information Acts?
Well, right now, the president is accountable for that, right? Elon Musk works for President Trump. He's part of the executive branch under President Trump, and he's taking his orders from him. So the accountability rests with President Trump, not Elon Musk.
Let's go back to economy for a second here. The inflation report was higher than expected. When are San Diegans going to start feeling the change when it comes to the grocery store, the gas pump, cost of living?
Well, look, President Trump's only been in office for 2 weeks. We have stories coming out every day. We have an enormous amount of executive actions coming out every single day. But with those policies are going to take time to actually have an effect on the American people.
What are those policies, though, that will impact people's
We're going to have
wallets?
right now, Congress is proposing a $4.5 trillion tax cut for the American people. And when you give money back to the American people to innovate, they can drive down, create more jobs, create a bigger economy so that you have more goods, and therefore inflation will go down because the money, a finite supply of money, will be chasing more goods, driving down the cost of living.
Okay, now let's circle back to immigration. The San Diego Region Chamber of Commerce told us that migrants hold a quarter of the spending power here in San Diego. So are you concerned that any of the administration's policies are going to have a harmful impact on the economy here?
Well, number one, when you talk about tariffs, it's a national security issue, right? That's what we have to look at first. If we're not safe, if we have an unlimited supply of fentanyl coming over our southern border, if we have tariffs, if we don't know who's coming over our southern border, we have to prioritize safety even over our economic interests. Because if we are not safe, where you have thousands of young women being trafficked over our border here in San Diego County, those folks, no matter what, the economy doesn't matter to them because they're not secure. So President Trump's put national security first when it comes to securing our southern border and our northern border, and where the supply of the fentanyl is coming from China. So the number one thing that President Trump is trying to do with the tariff policy is to make sure that we have our borders secured. And you saw the effect that had on the Mexican and Canadian government.
How do you respond to concerns that might be antagonizing Mexico as an ally who we need to work together with on something like the Tijuana sewage crisis that is so important?
Or you could make the arguments in incentivizing. right? I mean, the Mexican government has not worked with the Biden administration for 4 years over the Tijuana sewage crisis.
They have.
Well, the situation has gotten worse. It hasn't gotten better. It's been going on for years. When I ran for Congress in 2022 against Scott Peters, who we saw earlier, he was making promises that everything was going to get better, but we still see enormous amounts of beaches being closed. So President Trump's only been in office for a little bit. Give him some time, and I think the relationships he's building and showing the Mexican government that they can't take advantage of us anymore. This is important.
Let's talk local for a minute. What are local Republicans who hold elected office focused on right now?
Reducing the cost of living. I mean, again, when you talk about President Trump, he's only been in office for a little bit, but the way you lower the cost of living is by taking money away from the government and putting it in the pocketbooks of the people of San Diego. Democrats for too long have been wasting San Diego's monies, and we need to make sure that that money is used efficiently by the people. Let the people innovate. Let the people of San Diego, a brilliant group of people, let them show the way on how we can lower the cost of living by creating jobs, by creating more goods, by creating more services, so our money goes further.
What powers do local elected officials in your party have to make that reality?
Well, look, in the places that we have great people in place in San Diego County, we have Jim Desmond, who's on the Board of Supervisors. We have Mayor John Franklin in Vista. They're putting in policies that help rather than hurt the ability of individuals to be able to get jobs, to be able to make sure when we talk about fires, we're stopping fires from happening to begin with, investing in these things. So Republicans are focused on results and helping individuals, right, rather than go for luxury programs and engage in a set of luxury beliefs that the Democratic Party does, right? They're not focused on helping the individual, whereas Republicans are empowering the individual and using government to create jobs and lower the cost of living.
Even this rhetoric right now is a little bit divisive. Where is there room on a local level for political compromise, or is that a thing of the past?
I think there's always I think political compromise is good, right? When you talk about our constitutional republic, the foundation of a democratic system of government is compromise, because you're not going to have a complete control over government. Even if you have, as Republicans do, a dominant position on the national level, there's still Democrats in Congress. So Republicans should work with Democrats where we can agree. I think President Trump has done that in the past, and that's the same thing in San Diego. If the Democrats want to increase the water supply in San Diego County, or make sure that we can get rid of the brush, regardless of green tape that's out there, Republicans are absolutely going to work with Democrats on those issues that we can agree on that will help the people of San Diego.
Very, very quickly, is the system of checks and balances in D.C. functioning right now the way it should be?
Yes, and that's a great question. And the reason is that you have Congress, right? And Congress can stand up to the president whenever they want to, but they have to choose to do it. So when you talk about the Elon Musk situation, if Congress doesn't think the president is spending money correctly, they can pass laws and they can do a lot to make the president listen to what they're doing, right? But Congress right now seems to like what the president's doing, trying to create more efficiency in government. So it's up to Congress to use its power to limit the president's power when it wants to. And right now, it likes what President Trump is doing.
Right, Congress does still hold the power of the purse.
Correct.
Thank you so much for your time this morning, Corey Gustafson. We appreciate having you here always.
Always a pleasure.